Hello everybody, Joe Clone here, back again with another LEGO Star Wars minifigure review series. This series, we will go over my current Imperial era minifigure collection. And I think it speaks for itself. Obviously right here we got a nice little battle going on between the Rebels, or I should say the Rebel Alliance, and the Imperial Stormtroopers. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so since this review series is all about the age of the Empire, I thought, why not start with the most iconic Imperial soldiers and some of the most iconic Star Wars characters of all time, the Stormtroopers. Stormtroopers have been seen, obviously, since the very first Star Wars movie ever came out. There's been many different variants of them over the years that we've seen in all types of Star Wars media. And, luckily for us, LEGO has also made many different variations of Stormtrooper minifigures. So, let's get into it. Alright, and like I said before, some of the most iconic and most popular and most recognizable Star Wars characters in the whole franchise, we will begin reviewing the classic shiny Stormtrooper. I have three in front of us here. As you know, my LEGO hiatus, I unfortunately don't have any first order variants of the Stormtrooper, which that's probably my favorite variant of Stormtrooper helmet. It's one of the only things I really like from the sequel trilogy, but I'm not going to complain about the sequel trilogy here because that is not what I'm about, even though there's a lot of problems with it. But we're going to be talking about, we're not talking about the sequel trilogy. We're going to go back to the classic Stormtroopers that we see in the original trilogy. And a little backstory, obviously. And again, if you don't know who Stormtroopers are, I've said this 1,000 times, but I really mean it this time. If you don't know who Stormtroopers are, you cannot call yourself a Star Wars fan. But Stormtroopers were the next step in soldier from the Republic era, where they used clone troopers, to where the Republic transitioned to the Empire and stopped using clones, so they just used Stormtroopers like we have in front of us here. They aren't clones, they're just normal people. Some were abducted as kids and forced to be Stormtroopers, signed up into the Empire. There's actually a little theory that Luke was going to actually enlist as an Imperial Stormtrooper before, obviously, as we know, what happens in the original trilogy. And I don't know if that's true, but I thought that was a little cool theory that someone created. But right here we have the original LEGO Stormtrooper. I'm fuzzy on when it came out. I should know when the set came out, but this Stormtrooper I got from the first Imperial Battle Pack. I'm pretty sure it was the first Imperial Battle Pack. It was that dropship set that came with, I think, 2 or 3 of the normal shiny Stormtroopers, like I'm holding in front of you here. And it also came with 2 Shadow Troopers, or maybe 1. I don't know. Again, that was really long ago, but that set, the Imperial Dropship Battle Pack and the Rebel Fleet Trooper Battle Pack were literally the 2 first LEGO sets I ever got in my life. So that's why this figure specifically holds a very special place in my heart, because he's the only LEGO variant of this type of Stormtrooper minifigure that I still have, because I was crazy as a little kid and destroyed a bunch of them. But I always loved the look of these Stormtroopers. It's just a very classic look. The helmet is perfectly sized, as we'll get into that as I talk about the next two. Not a lot of printing, no printing on the legs, no printing on the arms, but nice back printing, nice torso printing in the front right there, and that is just a basic Stormtrooper. They came with these dead heads. Now they don't come with these dead heads, which I actually like, that they come with an actual printed face, but still, like, and I also gave him the iconic, like the first generation of Star Wars blaster that they used, just to really sell that he is an old figure. But the helmet is one of my favorites that LEGO's ever made in the LEGO Star Wars theme. And with that being said, because I need to compare, you'll see why I'm talking about size and accuracy. These are the newer, these two Stormtroopers actually came in the new Boarding the Tantive LEGO set for the 25 years of anniversary, the 25-year anniversary of LEGO Star Wars. And I gotta admit, I didn't like them at first, but having two actually in my hand and owning them now, I've turned around on them. The torso printing is fantastic. As you could see, it's just way more detailed than the OG here. Just more lines and definition. It's really nice. They also have leg printing, whereas again, I said the OG does not, which the leg printing I love a lot. It reminds me a lot of the new Clone Trooper leg printing, which is just very nice there. I even like how one leg is different than the other. Very, very nice printed figure here. On the back, very similar to the OG, actually. But then that brings me to the helmet, which, like I said, they actually give faces to Stormtroopers, and Stormtroopers were any gender, any race, I'm pretty sure. So anyone who wanted to enlist in the Imperial and anyone who wanted to enlist in the Empire and be an Imperial Stormtrooper, they took in with open arms. It wasn't that fulfilling of a job, unfortunately, but yeah. But just look at the helmets here, and we could see. Here's the thing. I used to really not like the new dual molded helmets, and I say dual molded because, as you could see, they are two pieces molded together, opposed to the original where it's just one molded piece there. But I shouldn't put it back on because we got to compare. And it looks a little big on the figures, but I have to say, I like the details. I think they're, like, even when on that side angle there, I like how they're detailed a little bit more than the OG. As you can see, just look at the face mask on the bottom there. And right here, the eyes have way more definition. Even the little marks on the side there, like the OG had none. And little dashes on the side as well. I like the detailing on these. The only problem is the scale of them to the minifigure, or for me, the only problem is, which I've come to see as a slight problem because I actually really like these figures, but it just looks a little big on them. And many other LEGO YouTubers have pointed this out. I like how in the OG ones you could kind of move them side to side, so it looks like they're looking left to right. You can't move these. Whoa, just dropped her blaster there. But can't move the head at all, really, to make them look at anything. You kind of have to move their whole body to look left or right, which is all right. But like for mocks and stuff like that, this is just way nicer. And I'll actually show you what it looks like on the OG. See, it's not that bad. It's just a little too big. That's really all it is. Just a tiny bit too big. Like, you should have just made it like this. But there's really, other than that, really not that many differences. And I really think you could, even with the flip-flop look there, that they look pretty good. As you can tell, the printing really just makes the newer ones superior figures, but the OG is just iconic, especially for LEGO Star Wars, because these were the first generation of Stormtrooper minifigures that LEGO produced. and that's why they'll always hold a special place in my heart. But just to show you the other one, there's a different head on this. It's just some random guy, but I hated on these at first, but actually, like I said, actually owning two, I've really come around to them. And like I said, just a slightly if it was just the exact same scale as this helmet, it would literally be superior. But I understand. You need a little bit of a bigger canvas to add more detail, and the dual mold, obviously. But overall, fantastic Stormtrooper minifigures. Just look at the three of them there. It just looks iconic. Now that we've gotten the shinies out of the way, let's get into some more exciting Stormtrooper minifigures. Okay, I said we were gonna get into some more exciting Stormtrooper Lego minifigures here, and look at what we have in front of us here. I forgot to say it before. Might have looked it up before I did this take, but the first Imperial Stormtrooper dropship battle pack came out in 2008. It came with three of these OG shiny Stormtroopers and one Shadow Trooper. And speaking of, that is who I'm going to be reviewing next. These are the Shadow Troopers, and what can I say? It's a blacked out Stormtrooper, like, so badass. Obviously, that's why I still have both of mine intact, because I loved these as a kid way more than the normal variant of Stormtrooper. And other than that, they're all blacked out, which is really what makes these figures. They're not much different from the OG Stormtrooper minifigure here. That's why I kept him in the frame. Really exactly the same, except they are just blacked out and look so badass. They have the chrome visors up there, the sort of sand blue dashes, and these figures were amazing. And they're very, very valuable today. This is just a Brick Arms custom that I always had this one have. Still, he just looks like he's ready to take out an entire squad of rebels. But yeah, I love these figures, and I'm so grateful that I still have both of mine in perfect condition. Just the way that they're just blacked out, it's just so awesome. And obviously we've actually seen, I shouldn't say many, but we've seen a few different variants of Shadow Troopers over the years, and Shadow Stormtroopers have always just been some of the coolest ever, and I think they'll remain some of the coolest Stormtroopers of all time. You do not want to mess with these guys. Definitely have a better aim than the normal variant of shiny Stormtrooper. But yeah, and obviously they came with dead heads, which I could just put faces on them, but just badass figures. What can I say, guys? Just badass Lego minifigures. And again, that is why they're very, very valuable today, because this variant of them only came out in that 2008 battle pack. I think they might have came in the 2019 one, but obviously the original ones are going to be more valuable than the reproduction. And then talking about crazy minifigures, I gotta be honest. I looked it up again. Like, these are a Toys R Us free exclusive promotion. I don't even know how. I know I got one of these from a Lego Star Wars encyclopedia. I have no idea how I have two. I really don't. And again, I'm just so grateful to have these. They're also in perfect condition, which I don't know how, because all of these four, the two Shadow Troopers and the two Chrome Stormtroopers here, I played with so much as a kid. These guys I had sort of be like, they had, I sort of imagine them to have like Beskar armor, so they were sort of blaster proof and very hard to kill. But again, what could I say? They're the exact same as the OG Shiny Stormtrooper and the Shadow Troopers, except they are obviously all chrome, and these are just two amazing figures to have. Just look how shiny they are. Like, oh my god. And I said the other two are badass. Again, badass, if not more badass. That's why I gave them two blasters too, because they're sort of tanks, getting fingerprints all over them. But again, these are even more valuable than the other two variants we've talked about, and I have mine in perfect condition. I do not know how, but I am so grateful. I wish I could tell you more about the details, but they really are all the same. Let's just be in awe of the chrome printed figure here. There's not a lot of figures in Lego that are printed with this shiny chrome paint, I guess I should say. So just to have two of these is just, and even two of the Shadow Troopers, just to have two of these different these insane variants of the OG Lego minifigure for a Stormtrooper is just so cool to me, and that's why these are some of my most favorite minifigures in my entire Lego minifigure collection, across not just in Lego Star Wars, but just in any theme in general. Just amazing, like the reflectiveness there. You could almost see my super expensive camera setup, but again, I am just so grateful to have these still, and amazing Lego minifigures. They really haven't made them ever again. I'm pretty sure they came out in 2010, so 2 years after these, but that is the, I shouldn't say normal, but that is the normal looking variant of Lego Stormtrooper minifigures I have. You'll see why I say normal in a bit, because in the next part we're going to be looking at some very different variants, and there actually are different, and I'll be able to break down the details very very much better, because again, these are very cool, but they're ultimately still just the normal variant of the OG shiny Lego Stormtrooper. But with that being said, before I move on, let's just zoom in and be in awe at these for a second. Look at that. But let's move on to the next variant of Stormtrooper. I told you they were different, and this is why. Obviously, in front of us here in this next part, we have some very different looking Lego Stormtroopers here, and I guess I'm going to start from least to greatest. Here we have a Imperial Snowtrooper. These are iconic in they're most famously seen, obviously, in The Empire Strikes Back, when the Empire storms the Rebel Hoth base, and Hoth is obviously a very cold, snowy planet, so the Stormtroopers wore this type of snow gear, or snowsuit, I should say, and I've personally, these Snowtroopers have always been some of my favorite, if not my favorite, Stormtrooper, just because they look so cool. And later on, as I got older, the Snowtrooper gear is actually just the Clone Marine gear, so that they're wearing clone gear. Like, it just makes it so much more cooler, or more cool to me. And obviously they're way more protected from the elements. As you can see, they have a thicker print, we all know what Stormtroopers are, but they have a thicker suit here with some panels there to sort of climate control their suit. They wear these sort of like a cloakish, like mask-like helmets that keep them warm. They also filter out any toxins if any biological weapons are used against them. as you can see by the pack that's on the back of the torso there, which is connected to the helmet, which there's all the filtration systems, I guess. I'm sort of rambling, but again, I'm a little fuzzy still from returning from my vacation, because I literally got back hours ago. Like I said in other videos, I'm recording all these on the same day. But just, I say badass, but again, just a badass Lego minifigure. And unfortunately, I only have one of them. I don't have any new variants of them, so I used two to make two custom clone Galactic Marines, which I think was worth it. But other than that, as you know, I'm grateful to have at least one. Gotta have at least one in your Lego collection. And yeah, that is the Imperial Stormtrooper. Imperial Snow Trooper. Come on, Joe Clone, come on. Let's just move on. Over here we have 3 Imperial Scout Troopers. Now, these guys were most famously seen in the 3rd Star Wars film ever released, Return of the Jedi. They were stationed on forest planets, and most notably rode the Bark Speeders, or the Imperial Bark Speeders. The camera died in the middle of me talking about the Imperial Bark Speeders, but Scout Troopers, obviously, since they were put on forest settings and forest climates, their helmets and gear are a little different. The helmets allowed for them to have better vision throughout the jungle. Also, like snow troopers, could filter out any toxins from any biological threat on a forest planet. And yeah, again, I've always loved the look of these guys, and I really like how the Kashyyyk clone troopers gear really was very similar to these, and you could see sort of how the Empire got the idea for the Imperial Scout Trooper armor. But yeah, I guess the only complaint I could have is these, you could really see the deadhead. Like the OG Stormtrooper Lego minifigures, you could put a head under there if you want. Like these, you really can't, because this was that old style that Lego did where the visor was molded into the helmet opposed to printed. But it's all good. And these are pretty valuable today as well. Not as valuable as the Shadow or Chrome Stormtroopers, but since they are OGs, the OG variant of the Lego Scout Trooper, that's what makes them valuable. This guy was sort of my commander of the Scout Troopers. As you can see, he has the Chrome Sniper. I really should give the Chrome Sniper to one of the Chrome Stormtroopers. That would look really cool. But, and he has this clone waist cape. And I sort of gave him a custom little pauldron up top here. But just so cool. I love how he looks with the sniper, because I'd imagine that they used a lot of Imperial snipers, the Scout Troopers, when they were on patrol or just fighting in battles on forest planets. But yeah, not really much difference between them, other than him, obviously. So he's standing over here. Let me just go over the pilot Stormtrooper. And again, another deadhead. They sort of have these bigger helmets with the Empire insignia on them. And these guys, this one, we see driving or piloting AT-ATs. They could also fly starships. And just the printing on it, this is really just probably one of the most unique Stormtrooper Lego minifigures, because as you can see, the printing, he has all the tubes there for breathing and stuff. And even the back is printed, which we really don't get back printing on any of the other non-OG variants of the Stormtroopers. Like Snowtroopers don't have it, Scout Troopers don't have it, so it's very nice that we get that awesome back printing there. And just the gray look as well is a bit different for a Stormtrooper. And the helmet is just super detailed. I feel like they got the inspiration for the newer Stormtrooper helmets from these and how they worked with Lego minifigures. As you can see, the size is very similar, and you really can't move them that much, just like the newer Stormtrooper helmets. But yeah, that is all of my Lego Stormtroopers. So, with that being said, let's move to the final lineup. Right, that is the final lineup, as you know, like we always do on this channel. But, oh wait, there's a little bonus that I forgot. This is actually a custom Stormtrooper minifigure because I had red drawn all over him from when I was a little kid, and red is very hard to get out of minifigures. Probably one of the hardest colors to get off of Lego minifigures. So I just made him one of the Death Troopers that we see in the new Ahsoka series that are under the command of Grand Admiral Thrawn. And I just thought that was a cool little custom, easy custom to do. As you can see, he has all the red marks on his armor to show where his armor's been repaired. And I actually like how he came out. And I actually like the Death Trooper. The Death Troopers were cool because the Ahsoka series came out around like Halloween, so it was a cool little spooky theme. But I like how this custom came out. And other than that, that is the final lineup. I'll put Joe Clone back there, even though he hates Stormtroopers, but I'll put him back there. But that is the final lineup, and that is my Lego Stormtrooper collection. Like I said, this series is just going to cover all of my current Imperial era Lego minifigures. I wish I had more Stormtroopers. I'm probably going to work on that a little bit. But like I said, clones are my main priority. So that's why I'm a bit lacking on the Stormtrooper side. But clones are superior in every way. Sorry I said that. It slipped out. But that's a review. Part 2 will follow this, obviously. And as you know, I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in this universe. And I thank you for joining me on the journey. I sort of said that's a review before my little catchphrase, so peace out.